the MkG, previously known as the MkG 45, versus the Mk10. While they look almost identical, what exactly is the difference between the two? Stick around and I'll show you. Hey everybody, Mike here from CMMG, and ever since 2017 when we released the MkG 45, then known as the Guard, you guys have been asking for a 10mm variant of that. Well, we came out with the 10mm variant. Unfortunately, they aren't exactly compatible. There are some differences. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dig into both platforms right now and let you see what the difference is between the two. Okay, I've got the two models right here in front of me. Real quick, can you tell me which one's which? They look really similar. Those of you that know our models probably were able to cheat on that just a little bit, because the 10mm we only have in one barrel length, whereas the 45 we have available in 5-inch, 8 and 16-inch. So if you saw the short barrel and the suppressor that said 45 on it, was probably a little bit of a giveaway. But if you saw that short barrel and you immediately thought 45, you were right. But otherwise, the two of these, like I said, are virtually identical. And they both use Glock Large frame magazines. But that's where we start getting into the differences. A lot of people don't really realize that though a Glock 45 and a Glock 10mm have some interchangeable parts, they act a lot differently than an AR does. While the magazines are physically the same dimensions externally and the magwell's the same size, there are still differences. I mean, you're looking at a 45 caliber projectile versus a 10mm projectile. So you're looking at 45 versus 40 essentially. With that, you're going to get different magazine seating heights. You're going to get different bolt faces. You're going to get different chamfers on the bolt for the radial delay blowback. You're going to get different spring rates. You're going to get different weights in the buffer system, because both of those rounds, while very similar, at least in the Glock standing and in the looks of our guns, they act completely different. 45 caliber are big projectiles that move really slow, and they lend themselves to being suppressed very well. 10mm, and the sky's the limit almost on those. You never know what you can get on 10mm, from really slow, underpowered stuff that might as well just be 40 Smith & Wesson, all the way up to really hot, super fast loads. And you need to be able to account for that. So that's why we came out with the two different models. There's enough difference that, unfortunately, the parts aren't interchangeable. I really wish I could stand here and tell you that you could put a 10mm upper on the 45 lower and vice versa. But again, mag seating heights, springs, all that fun stuff just makes it where it doesn't work. So we had to keep them into their own separate platforms. So I know there really wasn't a lot of information, given here. I mean, I could dive into this a little bit more and talk about, all the different specific weights that you could use on the 10mm, the action tuning kit that's available to tune either one of those if you want them suppressed. But the main reason I wanted to get in front of you guys today was just to give you a really, really quick, simple overview on the differences between the two. I mean, MkG is the 45, and it can only be the 45. With the exception of like 450 SMC, which the gun will handle, but that's a story for another day. But 45 caliber, 45 ACP is what the MkG is. The Mk10, 10mm only. You really got to keep those things separated. So guys, again, a really quick overview on those. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna shut up and shoot, as Dustin Ellerman would say. So until next time though, guys, stay safe out there.